I've been waiting for some form of news related to the Final Cut Pro since Apple announced that their powerful video editing software is coming to their Apple M1 ARM-based chip. And finally, get something. But it's not what we expected. I understand that Apple is trying to push their subscription service to more and more customers, as these are the kind of steady revenue stream for Apple instead of the one-off transaction that we buy iPhone or Mac. I am not underselling Apple revenue generated from this one-off transaction. This one-off transaction make them a $1 trillion company. So, why the change? Can't they just continue on what they are doing that make them this successful? Why go into a subscription model that most users despise? The rumors of Apple Final Cut Pro going into a subscription model is because of this. Apple added a nice classification 42 listing to its Final Cut Pro trademark in Europe. And what does this 42 means? Software as service or platform as a service is listed under the Class 42 identification. For comparison, Microsoft Office 365 is also listed under Class 42, and it has a monthly and yearly subscription. So, does this mean that Final Cut Pro is getting a subscription? I really hope not. But this is just an update to the trademark. It doesn't mean that Apple is really going to a subscription model, right? I think the chance is quite high, as Apple won't update the trademark if they don't plan on doing anything with it, right? Unlike various technology founded by Apple for its possible upcoming foldable device, those are just trademark for unreleased device. So, it might happen or might not. But an update to an existing service or trademark tells a different story. Apple currently offers a few subscription services, such as Apple Music, Arcade, TV Plus, Fitness Plus, and iCloud storage separately, or in a single bundle under Apple One. Using all these services under subscription model doesn't take me off, but subscription for Final Cut Pro does. Why? I think the main reason is the nature of the application. The service Apple currently offers, such as Apple Arcade, make the user think that they are paying a small amount of money for the ability to consume everything Apple Arcade is offering. So, you're paying this little of money for this much of content. Worth it, right? But for professional applications such as Final Cut Pro, it just feels different. Services like Apple Music and TV Plus provide entertainment. So, if you don't find it entertaining, you can cancel it on the spot and you won't even miss it. But for productivity service like Final Cut Pro, you'll be using it regardless, as if possible it's your only comfortable tool to get your job done. So in the long run, you will pay a lot more than its one-time purchase price. For example, recently, a popular iPhone calendar apps Fantastical go roach. I mean subscription, and look at the rating. It goes from more than 4.5 to around 3.5. If a productivity apps that we use every day for our work, diary, or to-do go into the subscription model, we consumer will pay a lot more in the long run. There's also an argument that going into a subscription model helps to put more food into the developer bowl. But in another way, they can still charge for a new version of the apps once every 2 to 3 years, just like Things 3. So in this way, users could stay in the old version if they don't need all those new features. Different camp have different side of opinion, and I'm not saying which side is wrong or right, just a food for thought. So in the end, I definitely do not want to see Final Cut Pro go into subscription model. But business corporation will mind the model, as they won't change to another editing software just to save a few bucks. As the cost and time loss switching to another software will definitely hurt them more. But for casual users like us, editing for fun, the small initial fee for a subscription will open up the door for anyone to try out, but definitely will lock us into the ecosystem once we get comfortable with the software. In the end, we will pay more than the one-time purchase price, and we don't even own the software you are paying for. And that's it. Leave a comment down below on how you feel if your favorite apps go into the subscription model. And thanks for watching. Ciao!